Good evening. Welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the program tonight, the Home Ministry rejects the Missionary of Charities clearance to receive funds from abroad, their FCRA clearance as it's known, that too on Christmas. It happened a couple of days back. What is the message being sent here? Does anyone care about how the world is viewing India? Next on the program, a huge day for India's fight against COVID. 2 new vaccines and an anti-COVID drug are cleared for use. But will these be allowed for use as boosters? And if so, how soon? Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw joins me later on the program. But first, let's bring you the various reactions which have been coming in as far as Mother Teresa's NGO being denied foreign funds are concerned. This has now made international headlines. Various media from across the world, and let's roll out a couple of those images, have actually condemned the manner in which the missionaries of charity have actually been targeted, in the manner in which they have been targeted. Let's roll out those images. As you can see, Time magazine says India's government bars Mother Teresa's charity from receiving foreign funds. India cracks down on operations of Mother Teresa's charity, is what the Financial Times has to say. India blocks foreign funding for Mother Teresa's charity. And this goes on. India freezes Mother Teresa's charity's accounts amidst hate attacks. There are other headlines as well. India freezes accounts of Mother Teresa's charity after Christmas religious tension. And, these just keep going on. So around the world, there is a sense of, well, if not outrage, certainly curiosity, and people being perplexed by the fact that foreign funds for the missionaries of charity of all organizations being blocked by India, by the government, on a day, or when on Christmas, on no other day but Christmas, was this FCRA permission blocked. What is this all about? We are joined by Vaman Acharya, spokesperson of the BJP in Karnataka, Dr. Shashi Panja, Minister of State for Women and Child Development in the government of West Bengal. We are also joined by the Most Reverend Felix Anthony Makado, the Secretary General of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of India. In fact, let me go across to Archbishop, to Reverend Makado first. Reverend, the fact that this came on Christmas, is it your sense that this was meant to send out some sort of a message to members of the Christian community in our country?
I want to state before that this news has come from the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and they are just checking on, before they renew the FCRA account of the Sisters of Mother Teresa, the Missionaries of Charity. I think they want to perhaps look into certain matters in order to have the sisters comply with the rules that the country follows. This is what I have been given to understand.
Right.
And so therefore I trust the machinery of our country. And if it is kind of a routine, kind of a check that they have to do.
But assuming that it's not routine,
that's
because a lot of people would suggest that that's not the case.
My question now, as you asked me, that it is sad that this happens at the time of Christmas, when we know and the world knows, for years now, Mother Teresa's sisters kind of, are sisters who take care of the neediest and the most poor people. It's hand to mouth. They feed people, they look after people in their emergencies, and cash and some funds are kind of a necessity to carry out their work for the sisters. And this has happened in the midst of Christmas festivities. In fact, the news came to us on Christmas Day itself.
Right, and that's what comes as a shocker to many. But let me go across now to Vaman Acharya, spokesperson of the BJP in Karnataka. Mr. Vaman Acharya, what is this really about? Is this simply a question on a particular audit, or is this a message which is being sent on Christmas? Because the allegations seem very
generally
strange,
these FCRA
and adverse input has been received. What adverse input?
Yes. Yeah. These FCRA registrations are generally valid for 5 years. That validity was over in October 2021. They had requested for renewal, and renewal was refused on 25th 12 because they are not meeting the obligatory conditions that were posed on them. These FCRA laws are applying to more than 300 organizations which were getting foreign funding. Okay. There were also complaints that this money is being used for conversion of poor people.
No, one second, sir. What is the, where is that evidence?
Chief Minister
the Home Ministry has, this was a question, sir, asked to the Home Ministry, and sources in the Home Ministry have told journalists that this has nothing to do with this entire bogey of forced conversions or of conversions. That this was something to do which is technical. Why are you
Mamata
making this a
Banerjee,
political issue,
One minute, let me complete. No, it is not political. Who made it political and why it came as an important issue today is because of the political upmanship of Mamata when she claims that
but sir, you made a specific point about these funds being used for sir, Mr. Vamanacharya, sir, you cannot make a statement. You cannot make a statement and not back it up. You have said that the funds used by the missionaries of charity, right, were used to further conversions or forced conversions. What proof do you have that those funds were being used for this?
See, for this reason only, the summary inquiry of all these issues will be conducted by Home Ministry of India, and then it will be again released. And so far,
so you made that statement therefore without any evidence, sir.
Stop, nor given the explanation.
Vamanacharya ji, you made that statement without an iota of proof.
See, Vishnu, I have not made the statement. There are many complaints. People have been saying.
Sir,
complaints
you said
doesn't mean that there need to be an evidence. I told you.
I'm only asking, sir, that's a very strong allegation. On what basis are you saying that, sir?
Vishnu, don't deviate. Vishnu, don't deviate. I'll tell you, there will be a summary inquiry.
Right.
And the licensing has not been denied. Only thing was, the organization itself has not requested nor given any explanation. Their own secretary, Prema, has said that we have asked our branches not to operate FC accounts till the matter is resolved.
Correct.
Till the matter is resolved, the accounts have been stopped by the organization itself and not by the government.
Okay, Dr. Shashi Panja, let me come to you.
Unnecessarily, this hue and cry, all this view and cry was done by Mamata and consequently by left media.
All right.
So this is all damn nonsense.
Dr. Panja, it's your party which is at fault for this. Is what Mr. Vamanacharya is saying. Please respond.
It's so unfortunate that I have to respond to such a statement. You know, we are emotionally connected to Saint Teresa. She is a Nobel Prize winner for peace. She is a saint. And she had started her work in Kolkata. And her organization therein expanded to the rest of India and to the rest of the world. So it's very difficult for you to connect, those who are speaking against Saint Teresa, to connect with her, to connect with the hard work. Now second, it's no political upmanship. Mamata Banerjee and Mother Teresa, then Mother Teresa, worked hand in hand on 6th of December when the Babri Masjid demolition took place. To prevent any kind of riots in Kolkata, they had dared to go out and they helped people. So you know that is the connect. And third, there is no politics in this. Mamata Banerjee responded when the Vicar General or the Archdiocese of Kolkata, Father Dominic Gomes, made a statement in which he said this was the cruelest Christmas gift that you are giving to the poor. I think we now understand that the missionaries of charity do report to the diocese. So his statement was very important. Consequent to that statement, there was no refutal from the Ministry of Home Affairs or from the others. It's only when Mamata Banerjee put out the tweet, then MHA felt that they should respond to the tweet. So this is, I joined in late into your show, and this is what I could get. You know, it is so unfortunate again from the respected politician from BJP spokesman from Karnataka. When he is speaking, he is dithering. Once he says that the application was refused, we know it was due to some adverse inputs. Doesn't MOC get a natural justice?
No, but
why can't they be told
is the point.
that where the lacunae was?
That's the point. What are the mysterious adverse inputs? It just sounds terribly vague.
See, it's known to the whole country that this mother of charity was involved in conversions. All the funds that come in the name of churches and
Saint
such
Teresa
charities
is
go
a
for
mother
conversion.
of charity. Is that how
go
you're
for
referring to her?
conversion. Vishnu, I am telling see, this is my point. Whether you accept or not is your headache. Vishnu, all these funds, the government had some evidence. I don't know what was that evidence. Government had only said that we will not renew your certificate for few days till you give explanation. In fact, the account where it is SBI has clearly said that the MOC itself has written to them not to release the funds to any branches. I have already read out the statement of M. Prema, and there is absolutely no politics. This was misuse of the funds that was doubted. This will happen even in income tax department. When I write something, income tax department says that your account is not correct.
Fair enough.
That does
Misuse
not mean
of
that
the
I have done something wrong.
Dr.
I am a
Pandya,
thief.
that's the central
No.
argument. These funds were being
This is
misused
a government. This
by
is a
Mother Teresa's.
Vishnu, this is a regular government. Vishnu,
You see,
this
the
is a
Ministry
regular
of Home
government
Affairs
activity. The Home
will
Alright, it's a
mention
regular
what the
government
adverse
activity.
A lot
inputs
of money
were.
comes
Right,
from
right.
outside.
The spokesman from Karnataka has no iota of evidence to prove his statements. Once he says it is conversions, once he states that there was lacunae, you see, he doesn't have information. That is something which MHA will inform the MOC. You cannot put up such wild allegations. You're ruining it. You know, this is what is happening. There is a growing intolerance towards the Christian community, and this is totally unfounded. This is not what India is looking at. It is very unfortunate. You cannot. You see, once he says it is religious conversions, he has to take back that statement. What is the evidence? How does he say that? Do they look after the poor? Do they look after the lepers of the country? Do they look after the patients that the Mother Teresa or Saint Teresa or the missionaries of charity were looking after? You see, there is just one thing. It's very convenient to say that we have not renewed your application. It is just like almost saying that you cannot use your bank account. It's almost like suspension of bank accounts. So how do you expect them to function?
In fact, I want to go back to Reverend Felix Anthony Mercado for more on that. Reverend, are other accounts, are these accounts of Mother Teresa's missionaries of charity, are they operational now, or have they been suspended or frozen?
No, I think that this is what I heard from Sister Prema, that, all accounts are now standstill. They are not freezed. That is the news. They are not freezed, but they are standstill. And therefore, Mother Prema finds it very difficult to continue the work at the moment, I repeat, the work is that of feeding the hungry at the moment, and taking care of the sick or the abandoned people there. And that's why the sisters are a bit perplexed, as to what to do. This is a very disturbing kind of thing,
All right. Well, you've got three slides over there of what exactly is this happening. Is this part of a larger attack on members of the Christian community in India? We've seen so many international headlines about this. Vamanacharya ji seems to suggest these funds were not being used properly, but we haven't really spelled out how. But what exactly is this all about? Is the message being sent considering it was done on Christmas itself? I'd like to thank you both very much for being with us. Next on the show, a huge day today for India's fight against COVID. 2 new vaccines and an anti-COVID drug have been cleared for use. But will these be allowed for use as boosters? Will they be allowed to be used as boosters? And if so, how soon? I'll be joined by Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw in a little while from now. But first, here are the really big developments as far as vaccines and that anti-COVID medication are concerned. The vaccines which have been cleared include Covovax, known as Novavax internationally. It's being manufactured by the Serum Institute of India here in India. It's presently being exported, in fact, to the Philippines and Indonesia. So they've got a stockpile of it already. The second vaccine is largely indigenous. It's called Corbevax. It's a protein subunit vaccine. It's made by the Hyderabad-based firm Biological E. Finally, there is Molnupiravir. That's an antiviral drug made by the pharma major Merck. It will now be manufactured in India by 13 companies for the treatment of adult patients who have a high risk of progression of the disease. Now, a decision on the rollout of the vaccines, Corbevax and Covovax, as a third booster will be taken in days. Now, that's really breaking news. So, if you have received, for example, 2 doses of Covaxin, you could get a single third dose of one of the new vaccines which have been granted emergency use authorization today. This would therefore follow the global practice of mix and match. However, the booster policy not yet out, so maybe we shouldn't get too ahead of ourselves, but this is being considered. In fact, both vaccines are also being considered for pediatric rollout. In other words, a rollout for children, because they've been tested on children in trials as well. So how effective are these vaccines? What do we know so far? According to Novavax, the designer of Covovax, it's about 80 to 90% effective against Delta. Remember, Omicron didn't come out when the tests happened, and also against previous variants, 80 to 90%. Corbevax is believed to be 80% effective against Delta. Remember, these are claims by the manufacturers. Significantly, both can be stored in 2 to 8 degree temperatures. Now, that's of huge consequence for us here in India where it's warmer. Finally, the new antiviral drug Molnupiravir. Now, it's being manufactured here in India by 13 companies. Its efficacy, though, underwhelms. Per the latest reports, it's at 30%. Now, in terms of doses, the way it actually works is 4 in the morning, 4 at night over a 5-day course. The expected cost, ultimately, less than 400 rupees for that full course. Well, joining us now, Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, Executive Chairperson of Biocon India. Thanks, ma'am, very much for being with us. It's a big day today. We've got more weapons in our arsenal. Do you believe that these 2 vaccines, for starters, should be used as boosters?
Yes, Vishnu, thanks for announcing these very important bits of news. I certainly believe that these are subunit RBD or receptor binding domain based vaccines. And I think these are going to be extremely useful and valuable as boosters, especially since we are talking about variants. And as you know, many of the spike protein based vaccines do not seem to be, as efficacious as they were for the original virus, which was really the alpha variant, and up to the beta variant were fairly efficacious. The efficacy of the mRNA vaccines dropped sharply. So did many of the other vaccines. So I believe that these 2 vaccines actually were, conducting their trials during the Delta variant time, and therefore I believe that the efficacy that readouts that we've had, at least of Novavax, is high in relation to Delta, and it also seems to have a good potential in terms of the Omicron as well. So I, for one, in any case, would recommend very strongly that these vaccines be used as boosters, because we do know that, adenoviral vector-based vaccines, when combined with these subunit vaccines, could be very, very efficacious.
Yeah. And therefore, ma'am, how soon do you realistically expect these to be rolled out? There's a reason I ask. Covovax is stocked. It's in stockpile. It's being exported now to the Philippines and Indonesia. And the government has already pre-ordered from Biological E. So the sense is that these can actually be rolled out soon and perhaps in a matter of weeks. Is that your sense as well, that it's not going to be 6 months until these come into the market?
Well, there are two aspects to this, Vishnu. First and foremost, I think the government ought to, open this up for the private market. Because the private market is willing to pay and willing to vaccinate people, with a booster shot. Irrespective of, the present, eligibility criteria, which the government said it will basically deal with and procure vaccines for the same. But I then believe we also need to open up the economy. And I believe that anyone, coming to work, just like we are vaccinating children, I think on-site presence of anyone also needs to be protected. And therefore, I do believe that employees also need a booster shot, which I think corporate India will be willing to really procure and immunize. So I really believe that the government ought to open up boosters to the private sector, which will actually save the exchequer, a huge burden.
Yeah. And as I understand it, Covovax might actually end up being the second cheapest vaccine in the world. And Corbevax, the price we don't really know, but it was always designed to be very inexpensive.
Well, I do know that Corbevax was considered to be one of the most low-cost vaccines, because I know that that's what has been agreed with the government. As far as Covovax is concerned, it may not be the cheapest, but I think it's very efficacious. Right. As you know, the data generated thus far is extremely encouraging. And therefore, I believe that both these vaccines can actually be used for, of course, the booster shots, as you just mentioned. And the other thing is, of course, I do know that both these vaccines are being trialed as pediatric vaccines as well.
Yes. No, and that's so important. A lot of our viewers have been writing in, messaging, tweeting, saying, are these trialed enough? Do we know whether these are, is it safe to be using these? How important is it to assert that both of these have gone through extensive trials in India, and Covovax has actually done, as Novavax, extensive trials in other parts of the world? It's been cleared by the WHO and the European regulator as well. So these are safe, bottom line.
Absolutely. I think Covovax has gone through, extensive clinical trials. And in fact, Serum Institute itself has conducted bridging trials. And also another point of reference is the fact that Serum Institute's CMC package is very, very robust. And that is what actually, got Novavax the approval from both WHO as well as the European Medicines Authority, which really relied a lot on the Serum Institute, CMC package, which I think is extremely a matter of pride for the country.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, we have extensive data on Covovax. I also do know that Corbevax also was, conducting extensive trials in India. I'm not privy to the data, but I do know that at least Covovax has got extensive data, and since it's been already approved by WHO and EMA, I don't think we should have any hesitation in using this vaccine in the country. I'm sure Corbevax is also got data that can prove its safety and efficacy. So I, for one, believe we do need to roll out these vaccines, especially as boosters ASAP.
Final question, Molnu Piraver. We always felt, and we continue to feel perhaps, that anti-COVID drugs are part of the solution. But it's underwhelmed of late, hasn't it, in tests? It's not as performed as well as Paxlovid. That's the other drug which is going to enter the market. So 30% efficacy is what they're showing in their revised data, that too not against Omicron. So how useful is it going to be?
The jury is out there, Vishnu. You're absolutely right. The data is not compelling. I think there was, even at US FDA, there was a very slim margin by which it won the approval, 13 to 10. And even I know that in the by DCGI, the subject expert committee also were very divided on this data. So I know that it isn't a unanimous kind of decision. I think they've just gone ahead and approved it because the US has approved it. For what reason, I don't know. But, I actually wrote an article saying that if you probably had used artificial intelligence to analyze all the data, would it have been approved even looking at the risk-benefit ratio is the question.
Ma'am, should we not have been welcoming the release of these vaccines about a month back? Because WHO clearance happened then. Why are we discussing this now at a stage when Omicron is so much worse? Why must this all be in slow
Vishnu,
motion?
I think the DCGI has actually not taken too much time about the Novavax. That I can tell you. It's come within a very short period of the WHO and EMA approval. So it's not taken too much longer. And I think we do need to do our own regulatory assessment.
Okay.
So I wouldn't kind of really, comment on that. So let's say that it's better, it's not too late. It's been done in fairly, a fairly expeditious way, I would say.
All right. Well, look,
obviously they need. No, I just said, I think getting the endorsement from WHO and EMA obviously played to the approval that DCGI gave, but I would not really say that it was too delayed.
All right. Well, that's good to know. Let's hope a decision on boosters is not further delayed. And that's going to take place, hopefully.
Yeah, that I hope is not going to be delayed. I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
We need to really, really move in fast, because one thing we do know, and that is that there is waning efficacy, and we also know that the earlier vaccines were not tailor-made for the variants that we are now challenged with.
Right.
And if these vaccines, because they're receptor binding domain subunit vaccines, if they can give us more protection, I think we should really rapidly adopt them.
Absolutely. Thanks, ma'am, very much for being with us. Hope to chat with you soon. The moment the booster doses are announced, assuming, of course, that they are. We'll leave it over there. That's
Thank
all
you.
from all of us on Left, Right and Centre. Goodbye.